Closed captioning for News 12 is brought to you by Kenneth Nugent. From the station that's on your side, this is News 12 at 6 o'clock.
Today, the district attorney's office says they have not decided on charges in a Burke County 4-year-old's drowning. Meanwhile, Burke County Sheriff Alfonso Williams explains why his office is not pressing charges.
The latest inflation rates from May signaling the largest one-year increase in more than 4 decades. Higher prices on food, gas, even leasing a car. We're on your side tonight with ways to survive a possible recession.
But first, what's hitting us hard right now, a first alert in effect for triple-digit heat indices and storms lighting up live Doppler Max radar as we speak. So we've got Riley here to tell us what to expect this afternoon.
Yeah, guys, we already have...
New today, the district attorney's office says they've not made any decision on charges in a Burke County 4-year-old's drowning last month. The Burke County Sheriff's Office decided not to press charges.
They made that announcement just hours after we aired our story with 4-year-old Israel Scott's parents. So we reached back out to his parents to hear what they thought about the decision, but they haven't heard until we told them. The Sheriff's Office says they did explain it to the family before they told the public.
Claire Allen is live in our studio. And Claire, you spoke with the sheriff today himself in person. What's his reasoning on no charges, and where does the case stand now?
Right now, it's all in the hands of the district attorney. The DA says once they get the full case filed today, they will make sure that justice is served. Sheriff Williams says there is a difference between negligence and criminal negligence. He says one can be negligent, but it may not rise to the level of criminal charges. But he says the evidence is not there to hold the instructor criminally responsible.
Yeah, I'm still bothered by it. We have done everything we can to provide the family some answers.
There are still a lot of questions surrounding the accidental drowning of 4-year-old Israel Scott. Mainly, how did Izzy end up in the deep end of the pool?
And talking to the instructor, she just doesn't understand how the child ended up in the deep end of the pool.
The police report says 2 days after Scott died, the autopsy results showed the death was due to accidental drowning and could not determine how long he was underwater.
Did she intend for little Izzy to die? That's not the case.
Georgia law defines criminal negligence as an act or failure to act which demonstrates a willful, wanted, or reckless disregard for the safety of others.
The law is clear in Georgia that accident or misfortune is not a criminal act.
The DA's office will have a panel to review the case and conduct any follow-up investigation deemed necessary before announcing any decision about charges.
I think we've done everything within reason to show that we're being responsible from an investigative standpoint, that we're being transparent.
Also from the DA's office saying the loss of this little boy is a tragedy and the community's heart breaks for this family. The statement goes on to say integrity, fairness, and justice are our office guiding principles and that will remain true throughout this independent review.
Claire, thank you for that. Today, a committee of South Carolina lawmakers meeting to talk about possibly making the state's 6-week abortion ban even stricter. In the first meeting since the law went into effect, the committee heard from the public.
Out of the 12-person committee, 8 are men. Speakers on both sides of the issue gave their thoughts, but there were more anti-abortion speakers than ones calling for protections. Some of the meetings say they believed the speakers were prearranged and stacked towards anti-abortion speakers, but the committee says they gave priority to a few speakers with disabilities, but the rest of the lineup was first come, first served.
You want to lower abortion numbers, yet only care about abstinence. How many men in here have told women to just close their legs? Can men do the same? How many men in here have forcibly opened that same woman's legs against her will? Statistically, at least 2 of you.
Do not disobey the Lord your God through the continuance of baby murder in our state.
No decision yet on if the committee will have another public hearing before more restrictions go into effect, though the General Assembly has to vote.
New in the last hour, the Richmond County Sheriff's Office giving more details on an aggravated assault at the Charles B. Webster Detention Center. Deputies say last Saturday at least 6 inmates got into an argument. Things turned physical. 4 inmates were stabbed. Deputies say multiple inmates had homemade knives. We're told injuries are non-life-threatening. 5 inmates facing charges now ranging from possession of prohibited items to aggravated assaults.
Also new in the last hour, Grovetown police say 2 women are charged with felony neglect of a disabled adult after finding a 74-year-old in pretty disgusting conditions at a home today. Police say when they found Rebecca Turner at the house on Jackson Street, she was covered in animal feces. Turner relied on her daughter Letitia Brickhurst and granddaughter Hannah to take care of her. Police say Turner's wheelchair was unusable because of all of the animal feces on it. They say walls and windows in the home were in similar condition. Columbia County Animal Control says more than 24 dogs, cats, and reptiles were taken out of the home. The 74-year-old will be placed in a home to get proper care when she recovers.
The warning signs of a recession are flashing while families keep adjusting to rising inflation, recently reaching a new high, rising 8% from May of this year to last year.
It's the highest combined 12-month increase in more than 40 years. Our Liz Owens is on your side with 5 ways families can prepare and immediately start saving money now.
Every time I go to the grocery store, I feel like I'm spending a little more every time. And that's because families are spending more, an average of $311 a month more. Now, there's talks about a recession, which means we all need to be thinking about cutting back where we can.
With growing grocery bills, sticker shock at the gas pump, and housing reaching unaffordable heights, it seems everyone is looking for ways to save every penny possible.
A lot of this is basic supply and demand. Right now, labor is low in supply.
Rick Franza makes business his business, serving as the dean of the James M. Hall College of Business at Augusta University. He says a recession is likely imminent.
We could literally be in one already. By definition, though, a recession is 2 straight quarters where the GDP is negative.
What does that mean?
So
Break
it's
that down.
gross domestic product. So it's really basically the health of the economy. Is the economy growing? So if the economy is not growing, it's contracting, and it's going to happen 2 quarters in a row, a recession is happening.
He says everyone needs to start with a budget. If you don't have one, make one. Resources are at our fingertips with apps to your smartphone like Mint, Good Budget, and others. And after that,
The first thing is cut. What do you cut? What services are less essential?
one quick money-saving tool is to start hitting unsubscribe. You can unsubscribe from streaming services like Hulu, Netflix, Disney, also that monthly clothing box or food box. Do you really need those? To save, start shopping to dress and cook yourself. Speaking of cooking, experts say 40% of all food waste comes from inside our own kitchens. So cut back here by buying more frozen foods so they last longer. Also, diversify where you shop. Click coupons and pay attention to store sales. Downloading a fuel-saving app can help make sure you're saving cash on gas. Fuel at stores where you grocery shop from and earn discounts. Speaking of buying, if you're currently in a lease, auto experts say the best financial decision is to buy your car at the end. That's because vehicles have gone up sharply in price, and used cars are priced 30% higher than before the pandemic, according to Forbes. For those who leased before COVID, you've got a contract that locks you into a buyout price for your car that will be cheaper than today's price tag.
Even if you don't want to keep your used car, still buy it. Experts say you can turn around right away, sell it for more than market value. And these days, every little bit helps. Liz Owens, on your side.
I know we threw a lot at you there, so if you want to hear any of these tips again, or even take some notes on the story, we're going to put it up on our website.
I think every family is slowly doing all of this, cutting back where you can.
Yeah, we all leak money in different places, but you and I both heard places that we need to cut down.
Yeah, I'm all about the microscope.
Yeah.
You want to make more? Spend less.
Get brutal with it.
Sometimes it hurts.
Brutal.
New technology making miracles for veterans who never thought they'd stand up straight again, let alone walk. The Charlie Norwood VA's life-changing therapy after the break.
And we do have a severe thunderstorm warning for the Clarksdale Lake area and heading towards us here in the Augusta Metro. Give you an update there just after the break.
On your side means more now than ever before. It means trust. Spending the hours, day or night, to get the answers to the questions and concerns you have. Trust in us to always be on your side.
As
As a pediatric nurse practitioner in Georgia, we see domestic violence. We see gun violence. The leading cause of death for young people in Georgia isn't car crashes, it's firearms. That's why Governor Kemp's new gun law that makes it easier for criminals to carry loaded guns in public is not only irresponsible, it's directly harmful to Georgia's children and families. This is a guy who pointed a gun at a boy on television. Enough is enough.
To weather now, and if you've been needing some rain on the
Dropping off below average, mid-80s Sunday and Monday afternoon.
Thank you, Riley. The Charlie Norwood VA works every day to care for the men and women who sacrifice so much for our country. But some veterans they're helping face a reality where they might not ever walk again.
But as our Wrdw shows us, new cutting-edge exoskeleton technology is changing their lives one step at a time.
For 73-year-old Air Force veteran Eddie Wicker, he travels more than an hour to the Charlie Norwood VA for his exoskeleton training.
It was a little scary.
He's talking about the first time he walked again in more than 9 years. He fell off a ladder at his home.
I have no motion in the legs or from the waist down.
This robotic suit straps into place around his waist and down his legs. Then it allows him to stand up on his own.
The technology that's coming out, they're becoming lighter. They're becoming easier to manage and operate.
They say it's for veterans who have suffered severe spinal cord injuries. These veterans go through extensive training. At the end, these devices will go home with them.
But sitting in a chair and looking up at people just gives you a different perspective on life. You know, we take for granted the fact that we get to stand and look people eye to eye.
Watching veterans like Wicker take steps down the hall is why these doctors are here.
You can't really put a price on giving somebody the ability to walk.
It's giving a new start to those who have lost a lot.
You know, looking out the window, see it's all over. It's not all over. It's not all over. It can be the beginning.
In Augusta, Wrdw on your side.
Life-changing technology for a lot of veterans.
It sounds like that veteran has a great attitude about all of it. And they say if you are a veteran and you're interested in using one of these exoskeletons, you can reach out to your doctor with the VA.
Important work going on right here in Augusta. Learning the ins and outs of credit, taxes, finances has been really a do-it-yourself thing for years, but a new Georgia law could give the next generation of students a bit of an edge. Find out how when we come back.
I'm Herschel Walker, and I approve this message.
Well, just about anybody can make money, but when it comes to managing your money, most of us need a hand. For years, it's been up to families to teach teens the ins and outs of finances.
But a new Georgia law is changing that now, requiring some high school students to pass financial literacy courses, and our Hallie Turner shows us how that will help.
This year, Georgia passed a bill that will now require students to take a financial planning course before they graduate. It will help teach students the importance of a budget, how to properly handle money, and so much more.
Another big aspect of it is teaching the kids about credit and how it impacts the ability or the inability to purchase certain things or whatnot throughout their lives.
The requirement goes into place in the 2024-2025 school year for juniors and seniors. Many parents say this should have gone into effect a long time ago.
We've got a huge poverty rate right now, and I think that a lot of that is just due to not being educated and not being educated specifically on how to manage personal finances.
Financial wealth advisor Will Rogers says taking the class is one thing, but learning how to use the tools is completely different.
Class where everything's abstract is not nearly as powerful as taking a class and then giving that person some of the tools that they just learned about.
He says the reason finances can end up in a big struggle is because many do not know the vocabulary and how the economic pieces come together. Sullivan says this step is great, but it needs to be offered even earlier.
Be mandatory at an earlier point in their education, just to set them up for success.
In Augusta, Hallie Turner on your side.
On your sideline, sports brought to you by the Hawk Law Group.